Immigrant money, immigrant money. I came from overseas now I got the money.
Hi everyone, welcome to our midweek session of Immigrant Money. Again, my name is Steven, gang, and I'm here today with a pretty smart and lady, a business owner as well. Of course, she's an immigrant. Like we always do, we let our guests introduce themselves. So, hey, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So before we go ahead with your introduction, we got to toast the fact that, you're a business owner. You are out here doing what you want to do on your own time, and that's quite important. So a toast to you and, to more accomplishments and more, success.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and tell us about yourself?
Sure. So my name is Elham. Hi, everyone. I am an accountant and owner of Universal Accounting Services. I am an immigrant, as you mentioned.
Okay.
Business owner, woman business owner.
Right. Go woman.
Yeah. I specialize in individual taxes, business taxes, bookkeeping, payroll, and business consulting.
So where are you from?
So I am originally Ethiopian, specifically from the region of Tigray, which is the northern part of Ethiopia. I was born there, but I came here at an extremely young age. So I'm still an immigrant, still first generation, but I do take pride in being East African and from Tigray.
Okay, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So today we're gonna talk about more business side of things. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about personal taxes too.
Okay.
But let's start with this.
Yes.
Most people don't do business because they some of them are scared of the IRS.
Okay.
Right. What you got to tell them about that?
Don't be scared. If you are compliant and you follow the rules and you follow the tax code and you have a good accountant to guide you, there's no reason to be scared.
Okay. What if you do those rules and you still get like an audit? And how come the IRS gets to audit you?
So audits can happen for a lot of different reasons. If the IRS sees inconsistency in your tax return, if they feel like you're misreporting something, maybe you left out income that they know you made, or maybe you reported expenses that you really didn't have. If you're, I would say along those lines. I would just keep it there. And if you do get a letter, definitely reach out to either a tax resolution service, someone that offers that service, or an accountant that can help you go through the process of figuring out why you're getting audited and how to essentially fix the problem. So you are in the clear with the IRS.
Okay. That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Talking about the IRS, right? Still on that topic. Should I report everything? Should I get cash? I'm just asking.
You should. They say they're telling you to report all of your income. You should report it.
So what if I get, let's say I work for someone and I get paid in cash right now.
Yeah.
And that doesn't go in my bank account, right? I get paid in cash at 2 p.m., 3 p.m. I'm over at this bar and I spend it all. How do I report that? And why should I report it when no one ever knew I got money?
Well, if you're receiving it from a business and they did not give you a 1099 form, technically you don't have to. But if that business that paid you gave you a 1099, that means the IRS knows you made that money even if you were paid in cash. Okay. So you should report it.
To ask you, right?
Yeah.
Is it a disadvantage to it, not reporting?
Yes, you'll get a letter in the mail saying, we know that you got X amount of dollars, whether it was cash, check, Zelle, and we know that the business reported that they paid you. They submitted a 1099 to us with your name and your social. Right. So you're liable.
That makes
you get
sense.
What I mean?
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Talking about disadvantages to business growth, right? Should I collect cash and not report it, or should I make my book such that every money I get in, I report? Which one's better? like with the cash that the feds don't know about,
Yeah.
is it good, or is it like me keeping money in my bank account to have a fat, income at the end of the year? Which one of it is good?
Well, I think even if you're in a business where you're making cash, like maybe you're service-based and a lot of your clients pay you cash, you should still have a way of tracking your income so you know how much you're making. Now, whether you want to report that or not, it's kind of at your discretion as a business owner. As an accountant, we're going to advise you to report it.
Okay.
Even if you're like, let's just say I buy something from you and I pay you cash. Technically, all you have is you gave me a receipt and you wrote it down that I paid you cash for whatever service or whatever product you sold to me.
Right.
You do have the option as a business owner to say, I don't want to report all of my cash.
Okay.
And technically, because I bought something from you, I'm not the one giving you a 1099. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So there is a little leeway there, I will say. But all in all, when it comes to business, you should at least be tracking your income.
Okay.
Whether it's cash, check, credit card, whatever it is, however you're collecting the money. Yeah.
Okay. In reference to bankings and capital and funding and all that stuff, is when you track your income, right? Typically, I think they want to see it like in a tax return or something like that, because that's actually when they say you actually made that money, right?
Yep.
Do you think? Because some people say cash is king, like they don't report everything in the sense that they're gonna pay higher taxes. So when you don't do that, does it hurt the chances of your business growing exponentially, or does it help you?
So that's a really good point that you make. A lot of business owners who are paid in cash, maybe they keep track of it, but they don't actually report it to their accountant for that reason, because they don't want to pay as much in taxes. However, when you're applying for business loans, or even if you're a business owner looking to apply for a mortgage, they want to see your tax return. So if you're not reporting all of your income, it looks like you're making a lot less than you're really making in reality. Okay. So you have to think about, what is your goal as a business owner other than making money and having a sustainable business? Like, are you looking to leverage your credit, your business credit? Are you looking to buy properties under your business? Are you looking to even buy properties as an individual? Maybe you want to buy a home for your family. Well, they're going to ask you for your business taxes. So you have to weigh out the options. And that's why I say, like, consult with an accountant as well, because that way you can go through what are your goals financially and how you not reporting all of your income, or you reporting, is going to impact you on the IRS side and on the side of basically getting funding for whatever it is you're trying to do.
It totally makes sense. So you're saying it's a personal thing?
It is a personal thing. I personally would say, though, if you're a person who is into business and this is what you want to do, you're a business owner and you're not someone who wants to go work for anybody, report your income. Because there may be a time someone says, let me see your tax returns for a $500,000 loan. Well, if you can't prove you can afford to pay it on paper, that
then you don't get
then you're not going to get it.
That makes sense. Totally makes sense. Let's jump real quick to the personal side of things, right?
Yes.
Cash App rules, Cash App and Venmo and all the rules that they just say you can't get like 600 whatever and you got to report. How does that, can you explain that to us?
Sure. Yeah, I'll explain that. So basically, when Biden came into office, the American Rescue Plan went into, he basically passed it. And it was a plan that had a lot of different laws and changes and benefits, and maybe not all beneficial to everyone. So what he basically implemented, the government plus the IRS, essentially said, if you are a business owner who is utilizing Venmo, Zelle, Cash App, and you receive more than $600 for the year total. So you could have received multiple transactions, but if it equaled over $600, they are responsible to give you a 1099 document saying that you received X amount of dollars through these payment platforms. So before this law went into effect, it was only if you had over 200 transactions or you made over $20,000 that you would get this 1099 and be forced to report it on your taxes. Now they went to $600.
Why do you do that?
we know why, because they want to make money on everyone. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Because that doesn't just affect businesses, right?
well, it's supposed to only be for goods and services.
Okay.
So they're saying that it's not if you and I go out to eat with some friends and we split a bill. It shouldn't be for that.
What if we go to eat like multiple times and it goes over 600?
Well, if it's for like I mentioned, like us splitting a bill, or you know what I mean, like maybe you're a family member and I send $300 or whatever it is, it shouldn't be for that. It should just be for business transactions. So if you have a business bank account, that's definitely like gonna happen. You know what I mean? So it shouldn't be on the personal side.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying that people that don't have businesses, they still can't get their cash apps over 600.
Yeah. But if you're sending it to someone who has a business account, a business bank account that's linked to a cash app, a business cash app, then that person that you're sending it to, the receiver, is responsible. So if I send it to you, I send you $600, and Nice Guy Corporation has their own cash app.
That's
You're
business.
you're responsible.
So I'm responsible to pay those taxes.
Correct.
You know, every time I get a cash app to my business account, I get deducted. Like they cut off a fee.
Yeah.
Things like maybe is it 3%, something like that. So that, and then taxes again on that.
You do have to report it on your taxes.
I do report that though, but how do you report fees on stuff like that?
So the fees are actually a write-off.
Okay.
So it's technically an expense to you as a business owner. So if you are using a payment platform or like a cash app where they're charging you a percentage or maybe a dollar amount to get the funds in your bank account, like that transfer fee, make sure you're tracking all of that, because that will be a write-off for you when you file your annual taxes. So it's important.
Good.
It's important to know that because it adds up.
Yeah, it does add up.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like $20 here, $30 to like, you know, talk about write-offs. What can you actually write off? Because everybody's on the trend now. It's like, I can write it
Everything's a write-off.
Right, so what can you write off?
So ordinary business expenses. So when you think about write-offs, first think about what are your month-to-month expenses to operate your business.
Okay.
So start there.
Okay.
So you'll want to rent. You want to account for rent. So if you're renting a space out, or maybe you are renting an apartment that you're living in and you're using a part of it for office space. So make sure you know that square footage, multiply that by 5, whatever dollar amount you get, multiply that by 12 months. If you had that space for 12 months.
Right.
Office supplies, if you're buying products to sell, if you are buying computers, laptops,
Right.
Insurance, if you bought meals,
Okay.
you know, if you're a business owner and you're treating your employees,
Right.
that's a write-off. Yep.
Oh, that's a write-off.
Yeah, that's a write-off.
they gotta go to lunch.
Yeah,
so you can write. So
yeah.
what exactly is a write-off? Because you know, some people hear it all the time, and there's just TikToks about it now.
About write-offs. And some people don't know what it actually is.
Actually is a write-off?
Yeah. So a write-off is essentially an expense you had as a business owner. And you are going to deduct that on your tax return. So what happens is you have your gross income. So let's say a business owner grossed $100,000, and all of their expenses that qualified for write-offs equaled $50,000.
Okay.
So you're going to deduct, your accountant would deduct $50,000.
Okay.
So now you're responsible on paying taxes on the 50,000. Does that make sense? So 100,000 minus 50,000, your taxable income ends up being 50,000.
Okay, that makes sense. As an LLC, right?
Yeah.
Let's dive into, you know, like tax, you know, classifications. Can you pay yourself as an LLC?
So an LLC is a business entity.
Right.
So you register as an LLC if you are just an LLC, and that is how you're being taxed. So you're getting taxed at the self-employment rate, which is about 15.3%, if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm.
You do an owner's draw. So you don't put yourself on payroll.
Right.
So that's how you pay yourself, basically.
That's how you pay yourself.
Pull out of the business checking account and you make sure you transfer that to your personal checking or personal savings account.
Okay.
So don't pay for your personal expenses using your business account. Make sure you're paying yourself every month and separating
That's
that.
how you pay yourself.
Yeah.
Would you say that's better rather than, because as the default tax classification for an LLC, as opposed to filing as an S corp, what are the differences?
So an S corp is not a business entity; it's a tax classification.
Yeah.
Like you said, so you're electing to be taxed as an S corp. So what that means is, as a business owner, yes, you can still be an LLC, but you're choosing to be taxed as an S corp, and you're not responsible for all of the income the business makes, if that makes sense. Okay. So as an owner, you'll basically put yourself on payroll, and the IRS says that you should select a reasonable income or a salary, basically. Okay. So the salary should be 20 to 30% or more of what your total like gross is for the business. So some people will say, I'm going to put myself on payroll for $40,000.
Okay.
And you actually have to pay yourself on payroll.
You have to take the money.
You have to take the money. You have to pay payroll taxes.
Okay.
And then at the end of the year, as a business owner, you're going to get a W-2 as an employee of the business.
Okay.
So what happens is when you file your taxes, you still file an 1120S, which is like the S corp taxes, and you, the business owner, will get a W-2, and then you also get a Schedule K-1. So what that means is the income will flow through, and then you take both of those forms to your personal 1040, and then you get taxed at the personal tax rate, which is lower than self-employment tax rate.
That makes sense.
So that's kind of the workaround and why people say that once you reach a certain income, as a business owner, you should look at wanting to switch to the S corp tax election.
Yeah. So do you think registering your business as a corporation, as opposed to an LLC, right? Because when you start off as a corporation, you can, I think there's some, maybe wrong, but there's some benefits that you get from your state laws as a corporation instead of like an LLC, right?
Right.
And then also, do you think you should keep registering an LLC and then do a corporation right away so you could file as an S corp, or you gotta wait till you get to like $60K a year and then do the S corp thing? What do you think?
So it's usually recommended that once your business is making about $50K a year is when you should look at switching to being taxed as an S corp. So I wouldn't do it right away. If you're just starting your business and you don't really know how much money you're going to make quite yet, I would just stay with the LLC. It's a lot less loops and holes you kind of have to go through, less paperwork that you have to deal with. And then kind of gauge how your business is going. So keep track of your income, keep track of your expenses, how the business is doing, and then you can still elect to be an S corp midway through the year. So you don't have to do it just at the beginning of the year or right when you start your business. You can do it as time goes on.
How many months do you have after starting your business? You say midway. Is there like a time limit to that?
To elect as an S corp?
Yeah.
There isn't a time frame. It's just watch your money. As your money grows and you start to see that you're making more money, it'll probably be beneficial to switch. But if you're still at like ground zero, or maybe you're just turning your side hustle into a business, wait it out, watch how your business is doing, and then go from there.
All right. We're going to talk about payroll and payroll taxes, right?
Okay.
Some people don't do that because they don't understand how it works.
Yeah.
So someone might say, hey, payroll is taking so much of my time. What should they do?
If I think just overall, if anything is taking too much of your time in your business, you should look at outsourcing it to a professional. Because then as a business owner, you can focus on what you're good at.
Okay.
which is whatever your
whatever-
business, whatever it is your business
Right,
does,
right,
and then you can
right.
scale. So
Right.
payroll, I would say, if you're a business owner and you're struggling with it and it just takes up too much time, it's hard for you to keep up with the payroll taxes and the filings. Look for an accountant or a payroll company that you can outsource that work to, because that's one less headache for you. And then you know that this company that you're outsourcing it to is keeping you compliant, rather
Right.
than you kind of scrambling and saying, I don't know if I filed the 941. I don't know if I paid on time. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
I don't know if I paid my employees on time. Things
Right.
of that nature.
Right.
I would say just outsource it.
That makes sense. Another thing, what if you can't afford to outsource it?
If you can't afford to outsource it, then I would say at least consult with a professional that can
Okay.
tell you how to do these things.
Okay.
And then let them give you direction on how to properly do it so you can do it yourself.
Do you
And
do
follow
that?
guidelines.
Do you
Consulting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Right.
do business consulting. So I do have some business owners who say, look, my business can't quite afford to outsource certain things, but can I consult with you on how to do it so that I can try to learn to do it myself because it's cheaper? And that's
Yeah.
fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Makes sense. But you also offer this as a service.
I do offer
Okay.
payroll as a service, whether you have contractors, which are 1099, or whether you have W-2 hourly
Okay.
employees.
What's the difference between a contractor and 1099 and W-2s? What's different?
So if you are a 1099 contractor and a business is hiring a 1099 contractor, what that basically means is as a business owner, you're not responsible for payroll taxes. You're not responsible to give them any benefits. So unemployment benefits, healthcare benefits, PTO, sick time. As a business owner, that doesn't apply. But you are responsible to report the income that you pay them for the work that they're doing for you. And then at the end of the year, you have to give them a 1099. So in a sense, it's like they're working for you as a freelancer sort of, or a contractor.
Right.
Whether they're working for you consistently or not, they're not on your actual payroll. Now, a W-2 employee usually means that they're hourly or salaried. You do have to offer them some sort of benefits. That's at your discretion, what your business can afford to give them. And then you are responsible for payroll taxes.
That makes sense. What if you miss some payroll taxes? What if you miss paying payroll taxes? Or what if, first of all, how do you calculate that if you're not on like a system like QuickBooks or Gusto or all these other people?
Yep. So you can go to the IRS and whatever state you live in, like the Department of Revenue, to find out exactly what that rate is. And then it'll kind of guide you to calculating it in a sense, and what like your liability is as a business owner. And then another thing I will say too is a lot of people get caught up on these deadlines, and they are important, but just because you miss it, don't just push it off completely. Like it's easier for you to get caught up than it is for you to avoid it for the next 5 years.
So
Do you have an idea for a clothing brand? Or do you have a company and you're looking to print merchandise for your company? Well, at Nice Guys Corporation, we print anything from hats to hoodies to sweatshirts to polos to even scarves. Now think about it. We could make you official. We could make you bring that idea for clothing brand to fruition. We could make you look official in your company apparel. We design stuff too. So if all you got is an idea, we got you too. We can make all of that come to life. Because at Nice Guys Corporation, we actually actualize imaginations. Call us today at 612-808-0474 or email us at info@niceguyscorporation.com.
able to file my taxes like last year,
Yeah.
I could still go back and file.
Yep, so you can still go back and file back taxes. You may have a little bit of interest that you have to pay, probably like 3%, a little bit of penalty fees, $100 or something. It's nothing crazy, but it's better for you to catch up sooner than it is for you to let it all pile up on you.
Okay, that's pretty good. How do I cut down, because we are scared of taxes, everybody is. How do I cut down my tax bill? How do I make sure that I pay was it $7.95 that Donald Trump paid Oh, how much was it? I paid taxes like that.
He definitely didn't pay much at all. But,
Right. I mean,
so the one thing I will say is have some sort of bookkeeping in place that helps you keep track of your expenses, because a lot of business owners end up paying a higher tax bill because they're not writing off everything because they're not keeping track of it. So when tax time comes, they're like, I don't know what I spent money on throughout the year. Well, then in that case, how do you know what to write off? Because what you're writing off essentially helps what tax bill you're going to end up with. So
that totally makes sense.
yeah, so I would say have some type of bookkeeping in place, whether it's QuickBooks or if you're doing it yourself or if you outsource it.
Okay. So write-offs.
Yeah.
Can I write off a Tesla?
If it's over 6,000 pounds.
What? That's it? Why do you gotta
well, here's the thing. If you buy a vehicle under your business, you can write off the monthly payments. You know what I mean? Like if you're leasing it, yeah, you can do that.
Why? What was the 6,000 pounds rule? Why does that matter?
It's just a part of the tax code. The IRS says that if you buy a vehicle, you know, that's 6,000 pounds or bigger, you can write it off, basically. Yeah. I mean, you can still write off depreciation as well, but
Right. I mean, because like I said, we're trying to write off a lot.
Yeah.
But when you write off stuff, don't it affect like your net income?
It does. It does affect your net income. So that's another thing that you have to be aware of when you are filing your taxes is like, what are your goals? If you're going to try to buy a house, I wouldn't write off all of your expenses because it's going to bring your net very low. And then it's going to look like you're actually not taking home any money.
Right.
So you kind of have to like weigh that out. A lot of people take advantage of like charitable contributions, 401k benefits, buying certain assets can help kind of like offset that. So there are like ways around helping lower, you know, your tax bill.
So if you were to donate to, I don't know, like whatever charity you choose, you can write that off?
You can, yeah. So charitable contributions are write-offs. So think of it this way. You know how like you go shopping and they always ask for a donation? Like, do you want to round up? They're not asking you just because they have a foundation. It's a write-off for Target or whoever it is, your shop,
really?
Macy's, you know what I mean? Like, yes, they are trying to do well and do good for the community, but it's also a tax benefit to them too.
That makes sense. How about people that have foundations, like Bill Gates? He donates to his foundation. Does he write that off?
I'm sure he does.
Does it work?
I'm sure
he
he
gives
does.
himself money.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
That's crazy. That's totally crazy.
Yeah.
Totally crazy.
There's ways around
And I
the
know.
tax code.
Wow. For personal tax purposes, right?
Yeah.
Are there any ways around lowering that tax bill?
So for personal taxes, I would consider if you have like a employer-based like 401k, if you're contributing, that's definitely a tax like credit for you.
Okay.
If you are a college student, that's a tax credit for you. If you have kids, you can't write the kid off, but you can claim them and get the child tax credit. So there are benefits. And then I would say on the personal side, just make sure that you're paying in a good amount of federal taxes and state taxes. So that's how you kind of either end up getting a refund or not owing or breaking even. And I think some people kind of, I wouldn't say they get upset, but they're like, well, I owe the IRS every year and I'm a W-2 employee. You should go talk to your HR department and figure out what's on your W-4. Like, what are you claiming and how much is being taken out?
Yeah, so are you talking about maximizing your deduction?
Deductions.
Yeah.
It's maximizing your your
So
deduction.
if I have 9 kids, should I claim them all? Or should I do like just one?
You should claim them all.
I should claim them all,
Because
right?
they're your kids.
Right.
You take care of them throughout the year.
right.
Yeah, like,
So claim all 9 kids.
yeah.
And then come tax time, you might owe money. Is that it? Or you still need?
Well, it depends on what your W-2 says. So it depends on what you took home versus how much was taken out towards Social Security, federal taxes, state taxes.
Okay.
So there is a IRS tax estimator. I have it in my Instagram. It's universal.accounting. If you go to the link in my bio, it's a link that'll take you to the IRS website. Or even if you Google IRS tax estimator, you can put in what your salary is and it'll estimate how much you should be paying in, like what your tax liability is.
That's pretty cool. Pretty good. Now let's talk about you. Now you gave all this information out. Let's talk about you and your business.
Sure.
If I came to you today, what services can I expect to get?
Sure. So the services that I do offer are individual and business taxes, payroll, bookkeeping. I use QuickBooks for my clients, and then business consulting. I love people, so I probably will be personable. Someone you can probably relate to. Customer service is really big to me, so I do put my clients first and what their needs are and try to get to know their business and what their goal is as a business owner and help them understand business finances and accounting and essentially help them grow.
That's pretty good. Personal taxes, business taxes, bookkeeping, business consulting, right?
Yep.
Come to you today. I make $100K a year in business. I want to write off my Tesla. I want to write off all these things. What would you tell me to do? If I'm looking to scale my business, take it to the next level, right? Hire employees next year. Would that be a good thing to do?
So I would look at, if you have QuickBooks, I definitely want to look at a profit and loss statement, look at your balance sheet, income statement, and just look at how much money is your business making, and then what is your profit? What's your revenue and your profit? So, and then what are your expenses too? Do you have room to hire employees and pay them? And so I like to create budgets with my clients and try to help them budget so that they can scale, so they can afford to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, to scale
your business,
Totally makes sense. Where can they find you? On the gram, the website, where can we find you?
Yeah, so my personal Instagram, you can reach me there. It's my first name, ELHAM_ADEM, Adam. And then my business Instagram is universal.accounting. And then the website is www.universalACCservices.com. And then you can actually Google Universal Accounting Services and we'll pop up.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So just to close out, what you got to tell people about 2022 tax laws and all that stuff, what they got to know so we can close it out so nobody's losing money this year.
Yep. So if you're an individual and you have dependents, make sure you are waiting on the child tax credit advance letter that you're going to be getting in the mail, which will tell you how much money you received from July to December. You need to report that on your taxes because that was an advance to you, and that's going to be deducted from your refund. And if you fail to report that, your return is going to be manually reviewed, which is going to take a very long time. So the faster you want your money, just comply with the IRS is saying and follow their rules.
What about people that didn't take none of that child money?
Then you don't have to worry about it.
You don't have to worry about it.
You got zero. So make sure you tell whoever is preparing your taxes that you opted out basically from child tax credit, so you can basically get your full child tax credit on your taxes. Yeah.
That's pretty good. What else you got to tell business owners about taxes and bookkeeping and consulting? What should we do so that we don't lose money this year?
Yeah. So business owners, keep up with your expenses. So if you need to take a day to go through all of your receipts, do that. You should be saving all of your receipts for at least 7 years. So file that away, or you can digitally keep that too. I know a lot of my clients do this. I do this too. I take a picture and I upload it on my laptop and just put it in a Google Drive folder. So make sure you keep track of that. If you are a business owner that is using a personal bank account, you should go get a business bank account today. If the bank is still open, separate your finances from personal and business. So that's a clear cut vision. Even if the IRS wanted to know where is that money flow coming from or where's it going into, you can show that you are a legit business using a bank account. So yeah, I would say keep up with that. Look up what other tax credits are out there as a business owner. Ask your accountant, depending on your situation, because everyone's situation is different. I think some people have like this misconception that like, even on the individual side, like if you got a refund of X amount of dollars, I should too.
Right.
Well, we made totally different amounts of money.
Right.
We have different dependents. And even on the business side,
Right.
you could have grossed way different than I did. And maybe you have employees that you can write off, that's an expense, and I don't. You know what I mean? So it just, there's a lot of different factors, I will say. So.
Okay. One last thing,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna end it.
Okay.
Last year it was PPPs, right?
Yeah.
This year, where's the free money?
This year,
Wait,
so you
yeah.
can, so I don't know if there's gonna be like PPP level money,
Right.
but if you are someone who was supposed to receive your stimulus, you should definitely tell your tax preparer if you did not receive it, because you can basically recoup that money when you file this year. So all 3 stimuluses, and if you have kids as well, and they didn't get the stimulus, you obviously as the parent would receive that.
money.
But as far as PPP goes, I know a lot of people would be happy if there was another round, but I
Right.
don't think the government is going to be this dumb or that dumb. I will say
know.
this time around. I think
I
they
know.
caught on. But there's a lot of like business loans and other resources that the SBA does offer. And then
Okay.
even like local grants and loans, I would
So
say.
if they
look
reach
into
out
that.
to you, can you send like people came to you, send like a bunch of like this resource system, or can you consult with them and provide this to them?
Yeah, so like I do have like grants that I know of, or like good business loans that I know of, that I, you know, if a client comes to me and says, hey, I need help with funding, I have no problem, you know, kind of directing
directing them.
to the resources to help
Okay.
you get the funding that you
Pretty
need.
good. This is what we want.
Yeah.
So hi, we're gonna close it out.
Okay.
This has been Elham from
Yeah.
Universal Accounting Services, and this is Stephen Gang with the week session of Immigrant Money. Thank you guys so much, and see you next time. That's it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Boom. Thank you.